this in the world. Now, you talked about your book and show everybody your book, Conversations with Bob, and it's done great, Steve. I've been keeping up with you. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, this
It's
book is like this book is like I said, the main it's the main reason why I was put on this planet. I realized it as I was writing it. And there's even a chapter in there called "Unleash Your Humor Being,"
yeah,
and it's Bob. Bob is God.
right.
Bob is God, and he's talking. It's the dialogue between two characters. Bernie resides in the negative zone, where challenges get blown out of proportion and problems turn into emotional havoc. He blames everyone, especially God, for his life not working. And uh, Bob gives Bernie what he calls common sense success strategies and shifting habits to turn his life around. But he also lets Bernie know that he's the biggest problem. You know,
Yeah,
and Bernie says, "Well, I prayed, you never answered." He goes, I answered your prayers. It's just that you pray with the same negative attitude you have about your whole life, and yet you expect a miracle." So then Bob says, Bernie says, "Well, of course I expect a miracle. Isn't that your job? Aren't you supposed to create miracles?" And Bob says, "Well, you ever hear the saying, God helps those who help themselves?" And he
hmm,
says, "I heard it my whole life." And he says, "Well, apparently you have no idea what it means." He said, "Bernie, I could perform miracles, but you have to meet me halfway. And you're not
hmm,
doing that. You can't pray for peace of mind and then get in traffic and start cursing at everyone in traffic. You
hmm.
can't pray for success. And when you set out to achieve a goal and you pray for success, a week later, when you're not getting what you want, you start cursing and you start doubting that it's ever going to happen. I plant that seed possibility, but you keep squashing it from taking root with your negative attitude about life. So that's what the book is about. And he gives
Yeah,
me humor is one of the greatest strategies.
yeah. Faith is the evidence of all things unseen.
Yeah.
I mean, is that what you pray into being and trust and have faith to believe for? It's hard. And Zig Ziglar coined it best. He said, fear and faith are opposite. It's like oil and water. And he
Yeah.
said, fear is false evidence appearing real. And we
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
we live
Yeah.
in a lot of that. One thing that I talk about, and a lot of people it resonates with folks, is the hardest thing was when I had to say goodbye to my mother, and she had a great sense of humor. And she told me, before she passed away, she said, I'm going to make you laugh. And she paused and she said, after I'm dead. I thought, oh my gosh, what in the world is that woman coming back? I mean, to haunt me.
Yeah.
Mama said, no, I'm going to make you laugh. So I noticed when I was cleaning out the house, which was super hard, she had funny things all over the place. I mean, mugs with the worst kind of sayings. I went, Mom, I couldn't believe it. Some
That's my
pictures,
point.
funny postcards. Yeah, she wanted me to laugh. But the thing that really got me was this little envelope. And she had written on it Eleanor's Sunday school joke. But that was code because Mama didn't tell Sunday school jokes. That was just her little language for something fun. So I
Yeah.
opened it and I started reading it. And it said, a woman's getting on a bus with a real tight skirt on. She tries to lift her leg. She can't get her leg up. She reaches back and she unzips her skirt just a little bit. Well, she tries one more time to get that leg up. She still couldn't get it up. And she's getting super nervous because there's a line of people getting on that bus. So she reaches back and unzips it a little bit more. Third time, still could not get her leg up. So she reaches back and unzips it all the way down and feels these strong hands lifting her to the top of those stairs. And she wheels around and sees a guy and says, how dare you be so fresh? She said, me fresh? You've unzipped my pants 3 times. Now, that pretty much is an old joke.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's an old joke.
Yeah.
But I always position that at the very end. And I do PowerPoint because you're right. People are so ADHD. They don't even know what you just, it's so
Yes,
solidified.
exactly.
Humor, visuals. But that one story people love. And they'll say, that is so funny. People, okay, it's an old joke, but that's okay. If I
Yeah.
say this was my mama's gift to me, and it was the gift of laughter and
And
perspective.
and isn't that what you'll always remember? That's what laughter does. It makes you realize when that person passes on, um, the spirit of that person will live on forever. And it's part
Right.
of laughter that makes you realize that the spirit moves on. We all move on and turn in life, but I want people to remember me with the gifts that I gave. You know what I mean? And one of them is laughter. Remember my brother Michael? I told his story, the one that's 100% disabled from the Vietnam War.
Right.
Well,
Right.
he
Yes.
passed away last Christmas Eve.
Oh,
Okay.
goodness.
Now
So
here's a blessing in disguise in this. Um, the pandemic hit everybody.
mhm.
2020 and 2021, everything was canceled. I wasn't traveling at all. But the blessing is that I got to spend 5 days a week with him. He only lived 7 minutes from me, and his body was dwindling. Okay, so I spent almost every day with him. I was the one that was taking him to the doctors. I was helping this tough Marine with medals from the Vietnam War, 100% disabled. The wounds were consuming him, never complaining, but he always had a sick sense of humor. And that's what kept us going. It was my bantering back and forth to see who could come up with the sickest
Who
joke,
could
right?
outsick the other?
So, yes. So, about 5 days before he passed on, he said, listen, he brought me in, he brought the family, and he said, I'm surrendering now. I'm giving up. I can't do this anymore. He goes, I'm not quitting, and I want you to know that, but I'm surrendering to a higher power. I can't, and I don't feel I'm supposed to anymore. So we had hospice come in, and you know what happens then. They prepare him.
Yeah.
So I'm saying this because it's such a gift. The last night that he was alive, he's sitting in his chair, and I walked into the house, and as I always do, I grab his hand and I said to him, "How you doing, Mike?" And he goes, "Well, Steve, I'm dying. How are you doing?" So I looked at him and I said, "Well, apparently I'm doing a hell of a lot better than you're doing." And he started laughing like you. I'm talking about uncontrollable tears, and so was I. 6 hours later, he passed away.
Oh my gosh.
And I have the greatest gift
Oh yeah.
that I was the one that captivated the most important of his life, and we had that together, and that's what I'll always remember him by.
Oh,
I mean,
that's awesome.